2, 1, 0. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spaz Out Podcast, Episode 2. I am your host, Caleb King. And beside me, metaphorically, I have my two co-hosts, Christopher McCauley.
Hey, that's me, guys.
And the one and only werewolf, Robbie Bland.
I think that intro speaks for itself. I'm a very hairy human, and I'm proud of it.
You're
Yeah,
very
I might-
hairy.
We're not
I might be able to legally identify as a furry someday.
We're not going to get into Robbie's furry fantasies this episode.
I'm not a furry, but honestly, furries would probably be attracted to me with how hairy I am.
Back up from your mic a little bit, Robbie.
Back up from my mic.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good distance.
Yeah.
Oh. Beat
Our-
me dubs. Caleb upgraded his mic. He's now crystal clear. I had to downgrade my mic. I'm using my phone, so...
Yeah. Robbie has a weird disorder where he likes eating his microphone, so do forgive him. It'll get better over time. He's on meds.
I'm so sorry. I hope that didn't sound too bad.
No, you don't sound that bad. Just make sure you speak a little bit like your P's softly, and then just back up a little bit. Yeah, that fucking is awful.
Okay. And on that wonderful note, we're going to get into our first topic of the day, which we have selected and none of us have
Chris
prepared
is
for.
fat.
And that's not the topic that we're getting into.
Chris is
Caleb has an inchworm on his face. What's new? Caleb has two eyebrows.
Nice.
Caleb has two eyebrows,
My
except
eyebrows are
he
nice
doesn't
and
because they're
nice.
connected, and there's only one eyebrow, and it's pretty gross.
Not true.
Very
I
true.
don't have a unibrow.
My
no.
girlfriend actually tweezes my eyebrows. My
She does a terrible job.
Oh my God.
Okay, and on that note, we're gonna get into our first topic of the day. It's not Caleb's unibrow or Robbie's sideburns. It is actually the police. Love them, hate them,
Hate 'em.
support them, don't support
very
them.
broad topic, and
Support 'em.
this was Caleb's topic that he really wanted to talk about. So
Fucking back
we're
up
gonna
from
give
your
him the floor to
stupid
start
ass
with.
mic, dog. Say that again. Say it again, but just back it up. I'll cut it up. Just say exactly what you said. Just back up, dude.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
is this
there you
better?
go. That is good. Just stay
Okay.
right there forever.
It's a very broad topic, but it was Caleb's idea, so we're gonna give him the floor now and let him start out. Caleb,
Alright.
what do you have to
All
say?
right. All right. So, okay, police, in my opinion, the right opinion. Haha.
No.
Of course.
That's a joke. That's a joke. I think that they are very heavily untrained and unfit physically and mentally, most of them, like the general population of police. What I'm saying is that they're fat. Police are fat. I have never met a skinny policeman in my life. Like
That's a very Caleb thing to say.
I can just outrun everyone I see because
Bro.
they're all fat. and-
Oh,
and
but
sweaty.
you've met a lot of policemen in your career, I see.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, a lot of police. So I have experience. Anyways, I
What do
am
you mean you
nice-
have experience?
I am nice to every policeman I meet. So, I
Caleb.
may do some goofs. I may do some gaffes. I may do some laughs. I may do some spoofs.
That sounded
I wanna-
awful.
But
That was the worst sentence you've ever uttered. Oh my
at
god.
the end of the day, I'm nice to the police guys. They are not nice to
I
me.
want to. What do you mean by you have a lot of experience with police? Because my only experience with police officers is I see them at like Chick-fil-A or Dairy Queen or something,
Yeah.
and then they sit.
I wonder
back
why you
beneath
see
it.
them at those places because they're fucking fat.
Oh god. Checkmate.
But I know you've been pulled over a few times, Caleb. So is that what you're alluding to? But you have a lot of
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Also, back up from your microphone. Yes. And actually, recently, I was speeding in El Lago. I get pulled over, right?
Of course, you were speeding.
I was actually speeding this time, and other times I have not been speeding and still gotten pulled over because
I believe
policemen
that.
have
I'm sure.
police dudes, police guys, police boys have a quota to meet. I don't know if it's like at the end of the month, but basically they have a quota. Some police departments have a quota to pull over or get this number of tickets, which is retarded.
Now, I know that is true, but I also know, Caleb, based on my all of my experience riding in the car with you, that if I was a police officer, I would pull you over too,
Back up from
Caleb.
your microphone. Say the same thing. Say the same thing you just said. Just please, just get the fuck away, dude.
Holy shit.
I don't get closer to my mic. I don't know what's happening here.
Just back up a little bit more. Say it again.
It was so much closer earlier. Now it's like all the way across the table.
Okay, that's good. Just say it again. You're perfect.
Okay. Based on Caleb, based on my experience with riding in the car with you, I know for a fact that if I was a police officer, I would pull you over too.
Okay.
I
That's
highly
fair.
doubt the
That's
claim that you
reasonable.
weren't speeding.
I know that I'm a horrible ass driver. Like,
At least you're owning it up for once.
I know that I'm a fucking bad driver, but at the same time, I might just be the best driver because I'll tell you why. Whenever I get in the car, I will get into a dangerous situation, but I've never been into a wreck.
Jesus.
So I may be texting while driving. I may be driving with my knees.
Okay,
But-
so I've almost killed people, but I haven't. So that means I'm good.
So like, but once in those dangerous situations, I get out of it, and I always end up safe.
Master escape artist, Caleb
Yes.
King.
I
puts
could be a race
himself
car
in
driver.
dangerous situations, but he gets out of them, so it's okay.
Anyways,
Other-
cop pulls me over, right?
Jesus.
And then he thinks I'm a stoner because I'm a young, skinny boy, and so he's like, "Can I like look in your car or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." He has my consent. So he goes to my car, pulls out a lot of shit. Like I have like trash bags in there. He has to fucking search through like some nasty, stinky ass trash bags.
I feel sorry for that police officer.
He found a kickball that had like a 5th grade class's name written on it.
That's
That definitely wasn't my kickball.
what the? Oh, so you're a thief now.
And then he pulls out my ripstick. He's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "It's a ripstick." And then he's like, "What does it do?" I'm like, "It's a skateboard
Rip.
for like not so smart people." That's what I said to him. And then
Jesus.
he goes, "So you're not so smart?" I just laughed. I smiled at him.
And you're like, look at me. Do you think I'm smart?
I am. In fact, 2 IQ points smarter than Robbie. So
No, you. Okay, online quiz that we took like 2 years ago. You know, a lot can change.
a lot can change.
But keep holding that over my head,
4
Caleb.
IQ points above you. I'm not
Keep
understanding.
holding that over my head, Caleb.
It's okay. I'll take the
You
IQ
know
test
that I'm
and beat
smarter
them.
than
I'll get the IQ score back, and I'll be 10 points higher than them both. So it's okay.
BS, Chris. BS.
I'm sorry. 2 IQ points above Robbie, 4 IQ points above Caleb. Better?
It's not happening. I'm the smartest one here, and I know that.
That's arrogant, but okay.
It
The
is
the
arrogant.
cop
but it's
the
true.
cop the cop
No.
was nice. He was like one of the only nice cops I've met in my life.
But was he fat?
Yes, cop was fat. I will stick to my statement that all cops are fat. Give me a picture of a skinny cop. Tell.
All right, I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking it up. Skinny
It's
cop.
photoshopped. It's photoshopped.
It's not.
I can already tell you right now, it's photoshopped.
All right.
It's
So
all cops are fat.
is your whole argument cops are fat
No,
and
that's
cops
not-
are fat as well, and they're also like large,
Yeah,
meaning that they're
also-
fat.
They're also fat. Yeah, they're obese and they're overweight, and they.
You can outrun all of them.
I can outrun all of them just because they're fat. I'm not even that fast. I
Wait,
can run
these-
for a long
wait.
time, but
Wait,
I'm not fast.
These images are all horrible. These are not real. Oh God! Like I look up skinny cop, and this comes up. I don't know. I'll see if I can send this in the Discord, but this is not okay. This is one of the highest results for skinny cop. It's not a photoshopped image; it's just an image of a cop. But I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would call that skinny cop. We'll see.
Hello,
Hello.
Chris. You just cut out a lot there, or was
No,
that
That
me?
was just you. That was just you.
Nope, that was just Robbie.
Anyways,
God damn.
So yeah, cops are undertrained. They should be probably the fittest people in the country, and that should be a part of their job, so that they don't have to. In my opinion, that guy's not skinny.
I looked up skinny cop.
That is not skinny.
Yeah. All cops are fat is Caleb's argument. Would you like me to retort that or no?
Even no, 99% of cops are fat, and also
They eat donuts.
and the ones that are skinny, like this man, are still not buff. Like, and they're still weak as shit.
So you think they're undertrained?
Yes, I think they're incredibly undertrained. And
All right.
So
That's a fair point.
because almost every arrest that you'll see on Twitter or like wherever the fuck you want, they'll use a taser, they'll use a baton, they'll use which I'm kind of fine with batons. Also, they're brutal as shit. What the fuck? But
Oh boy, there's a big one. Police brutality.
yeah,
We'll get into that.
and so police, like, they basically have to use those things because they're so physically unfit to restrain somebody. They don't know any kind of martial arts, and they don't know and they're fat.
All right, so I'm gonna attempt to rebuttal against this because the argument that cops are fat, I'm not sold. They might be fat, but so hold on. Let me make sure I have this straight. You're suggesting that police need more training, right?
Yes.
So more strict requirements to be a police officer. Yes. And that's basically your thing. They're undertrained, and also they're brutal.
Yes.
Well, I for one am.
They kind of have to be brutal because they don't know how to restrain somebody.
I for one am not super excited by the thought of a fully trained military walking our streets. If that's what you mean by police training, I do think they might.
I think they should be the same as like police, but there would be less like stupid shit going on, like shootings or like just police brutality, because they'll know how to just restrain somebody and handcuff them, like just like take them down, handcuff, easy.
I feel like
settled by that because the fact that they're well trained does not suddenly mean that martial law is being declared.
Yeah,
it just means that they're very well trained,
and they won't do less dumb shit happens because they're well trained. But a combination with the physical training and also with mental, which I'll get to later, because just wearing the uniform itself is basically something that triggers just like control problems. And I'll get to a study that I looked at in a minute, but let's focus on the physical training right now.
I thought you didn't get ready for topics, Caleb.
Wait, what are you talking about? I don't.
And moving on. I feel. Don't worry about it. So I guess what I'm saying then is that I feel like, because I don't think any of us, like none of the three of us, are qualified to say that police aren't like well trained in what they do. But if you're talking about physical training, as in like dieting or, God forbid, exercise, then maybe. It seems a lot more militaristic than our normal police officers, because I feel like police officers are distinctly different from people who are in the military in that they don't have strict training and dietary regimens because they're normal people who live in houses with their family.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a lot.
but they can't just be normal people. Like, police shouldn't be just normal people. They should be like our peacekeepers, like police, law enforcement. Just they shouldn't be scary, right? Which they're more scary to me because I feel like they don't know what they're doing. Like, they have so many like protocols or whatever, and more getting body cams or something like that. But if they're not physically fit to like chase after somebody or like take down somebody or like just to have that knowledge, like that physical knowledge. There's a difference
They're more
between
likely to pull out a gun or to use
they're more likely to pull out a gun or a taser or something like that. I feel like they're just like babies.
and that's a fair point. I wouldn't call police officers babies, nor would I say they're all bad. But
When I say they're babies,
I do think it is a fair point to say that when a police officer lacks the physical ability to restrain someone, they are more likely to use more lethal force and
they have to.
utilities than their own hands. You know,
Yeah, and that's something that shouldn't be happening. Like, I'll see
and that's
videos,
a fair point.
I see videos all the time of police brutality, white or black or whatever. I don't think there's a widespread there's like black or racially motivated police force.
Well, that's something we have to get into, but I'd like to finish this
I don't believe that, but
the race debate.
but every time I see a video or something like that, of like a police just fucking like beating the shit out of somebody, like what the fuck, dude? Like you don't have to do that at all.
No, not at all. Especially
And
not after you've already
at that point they
gotten
already
left.
restrained him. You know what I'm saying? And so they have no excuse to like if their legs are up or something like that to just like fucking smack it with a baton and like fracture their femur. Holy shit! Like chill the fuck out. And so I'll read comments right on like these disgusting ass videos, and they'll be like, oh, this even if they are in the wrong, it's not all cops. I'm saying that should not happen in the first place, and the cops should 100% lose his job after that, which they don't. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
it should, and normally they don't because the police protect themselves. The department protects their people.
So yes, I'm 100% saying stricter like regulations to be a cop.
So let me propose.
We should break into the mental talk too, that a lot of police officers are not well equipped to handle stressful situations, which is why in a lot of the videos like Caleb was talking about, an officer is more likely to pull a gun than say a taser or pepper spray or something, because that's just his immediate reaction to danger or a threat coming at him. He's not processing the situation properly because he's not trained to do so. Like Chris said, they're trained to be just normal people. You know, they're just slightly more adept at handling the law enforcement than your average citizen would be.
I wouldn't agree with that statement. I wouldn't say that cops are just barely more like adequate than an average citizen. I'm talking what I said was that cops they're not military. There's a distinct difference. They are normal people. They live normal lives outside of their job as being a police officer. I feel like people in the military, some would say that being in the armed forces is a job, but to some it's not. It's a lifestyle. Being a police officer is not a lifestyle. At least in my experience, it doesn't seem like it is one.
I'm saying you should be like have to make lifestyle changes to be a police officer. Not have the police officer being your lifestyle or like the definition of your social life or whatever. But I'm saying you should be in shape. It's really simple. It's really simple to be in shape.
So let me wait before we do that. Let me propose something to you then, just because I don't have a special point behind this. I just want to bring it up as a discussion topic. So I think we can all agree that the police are fat stigma isn't just a stigma. It's kind of true. The police force isn't not 100% true, but it's true. That's what I'm saying. So some police, and actually a lot of police, are not really in shape. They're just normal people. So my question is, if there's a more strict regiment to become a police officer or be qualified to remain a police officer, how many more cops do we lose? Because if you think about it, there are some people who might just not want to be police officers at all.
We would lose a lot.
Counter that with higher pay. Like pay police officers more. They don't really make that much.
I feel like that's an entire another branch based on like how much do police officers actually make, because being a police officer isn't just like a job, it's a career. You can actually be a police officer for many years and support yourself. But
it's not as good as you would think, especially if you're putting yourself in dangerous situations like that. You should definitely get paid more. I'm saying 100% you should get paid more because our tax dollars or not really my tax dollars. I pay sales tax or whatever, and I just paid income tax or whatever, but not that much. Because I'm still a teenager, but still, tax dollars go to some pretty stupid shit, and the money's being displaced very poorly. And I think definitely things like firefighters and police officers and like that kind of labor force that put themselves in dangerous situations like that should definitely get paid more, especially police officers.
Firefighters as well.
Firefighters, not so much, really.
Really?
I don't
I
think
think firefighters are great.
no. I think firefighters are awesome or whatever. I don't think their pay should increase that much. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying the most important, like the number one spot, should be police officers getting paid more in combination with physical and mental training.
So
I
how
think,
much?
honestly, if you raise the bar to becoming a police officer, you would lose some people, but all the same, you would gain better police officers as a result.
You would put the honor back in being a police officer. There used to be honor in joining the military or whatever. I'm not a big military guy. I understand it's necessary or whatever to run a country, but I would be a huge police guy if they were fucking not babies. And when I say babies, I mean, like, you know what a baby does, like, to get violent, right? They physically can't hurt somebody with their fists, so they will throw something or they'll fucking hit you with something. And so whenever I compare a police officer to a baby, I'm saying, if you run away from a baby or a toddler rather, they can't chase you. Like, you are physically superior to them. They'll fucking hit you with something though, or they'll throw something at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, comparing the throwing something to a bullet.
Yeah, or a taser or something like that. Just unnecessary physical force. We can't have our police officers be toddlers.
I think that I guess because you're making some pretty good points in this, surprisingly. So
He
I
steered
think
his step after a little bit, which I'm proud of him for.
yeah, I think that I do agree. Based on my personal experience, most of the stuff you're saying sounds valid. So I guess my suggestion to better the police force is there should be some upped regiments or upped training protocols or up like recommended like lifestyle changes that are mandatory for a police officer to at least like explore into or learn about or like be a part of their I guess just their training protocol. And while we would lose some police, I guess it would improve the police force in general. But I don't think that they should take away any of the tools that police officers currently have because those are useful in actual violent situations.
I agree.
Officers should have firearms than all the tools they currently have. Like,
100%.
You take that away, you're putting the officers in more danger.
Yes, 100%.
And it's a dangerous lifestyle. It is.
So the main problem with police that we're talking about right now isn't police officers in violent, the other person has a gun or the other person is trying to kill or hurt someone else situation. Mainly in less violent, like a drug arrest or like a misdemeanor. Like police abuse in that situation is totally egregious and unacceptable. You shouldn't need to beat someone with a baton or tase someone or, God forbid, try to stop someone by shooting them if it's like a drug offense or if they're just trying to run because they're scared of the police, which, by the way more people are scared of the police than they should have. People are not. They don't feel safe when they see a police car behind them.
I 100% don't feel safe. And I'll tell you the reason why I don't feel safe around police. I said the baby thing, but also, fuck, I just lost my train of thought.
I feel like, I guess I'll say why I'm not safe by them. I feel like I'm more scared of police, not because I'm doing something wrong, but like the main situation that I see police in is just with very civil things like tickets. So when I see a police officer, my instinct is like, oh God, am I like speeding? Am I doing something wrong? I don't want to get pulled over. So like, my instinct isn't, have a great day, sir. Thank you for protecting and serving my city. It's, oh God, I hope I don't get a ticket. You're not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is what I was gonna say. They do not have to protect you. Like a lot of people think that like safety in the general public's well-being is the government and the police officer's job. It is not their job. Like they have nothing, no responsibilities for your well-being at all. And like, so when I say that, there was this
There's
one
nowhere in the
case.
law does it say you have to save some.
Yeah, and so, or even go out of your way to help somebody in a dangerous situation like that, right? So like,
But all the same, being a bystander to a murder does make you liable.
no. Listen. Um, in this case, anything that the police officers did, which they did stand by, they were not liable for anything. Um, even if this guy did get killed, they would not be liable for his death.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on a subway. I forget. I think it's in New York City. I forgot the guy's name. This 100% happened though. So he this guy, normal guy, walks onto a train, and then this other guy, walks on, and he's like wired out, like he's on drugs, right? The police, two police officers in a separate car, I think, but they're like together. Like the police can open the door and get into the other car, is what I'm saying. And so they see through the other car, or maybe they're in the same room. I forgot the story, but I know the basis of it. You know what I'm saying? So this guy walks in. He's wired out. He's super out on drugs. The two police officers recognize him for prior stabbings as like wanted. They do not make an arrest. They sit there and do not make an arrest. He pulls out a knife, goes up to the normal guy that was on the train, right? And it's like you're gonna die. Starts fucking stabbing him. He's like stabs him in the shoulder, stabs him fucking. He starts stabbing him in the head. Yeah. So this guy like fights him off, like takes him to the ground. Like he gets stabbed in the head like 7-8 times. It was fucking ridiculous. He doesn't die, but like basically takes down the guy, restrains him. Then after he fucking gets stabbed like this entire time, and fighting off this guy, which by the way, fucking kudos to this guy that just whooped this guy with a knife's ass, right? A huge badass. But then the police officers come after the guy that gets stabbed, restrains this guy after being stabbed multiple times, and then they arrest him, and then then the two police officers get in the paper and they get all the credit, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And so he sues the police department, and loses because they have no responsibility for his well-being. Like they do not have to do anything when someone's sitting there getting stabbed.
I feel like there's probably something in the police officer's book somewhere though that says they have to stop someone who's wanted.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Because their reasoning was that it was a dangerous situation and their lives were at risk, so they didn't go in there and help.
What?
That's not logical. But
Welcome
this is
to
a good way to branch off into a topic that should be brought up when talking about the police, and that's that police have a position of power in society.
Oh yeah,
and there is a bit of a power gap between an officer and a normal citizen, even though an officer
and they know it
is
too. They know it,
and that's where the term like bully with a badge comes from, as I've heard it coined. That some officers take advantage of their, powerful position in our society.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and that's just a phenomenon that goes on in almost anything, and it happens subconsciously. Yes. They don't even know what's going on.
As it often goes, it's going to be your word versus the officers in court, and the court is going to be more likely to listen to the officer than you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking about because my uncle's a lawyer, right? And so he's the one that got me dismissed from my actual ticket, which I do not think I was speeding. Again, I don't watch my speedometer 24/7, or nor do I have a video recording of my speedometer, right? But
Caleb, I know you were probably speeding.
I know I speed a lot, and I'm a terrible driver, but I 99% almost guarantee you that I was not speeding right there. And so I'm like talking to my lawyer. Not my lawyer, my uncle. Fuck.
He's not your uncle anymore. He's just your lawyer now.
So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, I don't think I was speeding. And he goes, okay, don't say that. That's not relevant. And then so I'm like, why? Like, I thought I was innocent until proven guilty. And he goes, you're technically guilty already. I'm like, what the fuck?
Ooh, that's not right.
Like, what the fuck?
I think it's impossible in that situation for the innocent until proven guilty clause,
I
mainly
know.
because of the police officer's thing. They use that as evidence that their speedometer detected speeding, therefore you are guilty because
It's
you were
bullshit.
innocent before.
It's bullshit. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So the study that I read or whatever, that there's been multiple documentaries about it. I also forgot the psychologist's name. I'm really fucking bad with memory. The prison experiment. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about.
What, the
I've heard
Stanford
of
prison experiment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I know all about that.
The
That's
one with the college ones and
yeah. So hold on. I'll go over it really
yeah,
quickly because
you should probably explain it better than me.
it's relevant to the situation. So the Stanford prison experiment was a prison experiment conducted by a famous psychologist at Stanford University. His name evades me at the moment, but very well-known guy, very trusted and respectable guy. So his experiment is basically to identify what people do with power. So what he did is, I won't quote the exact number, I don't want to misquote it, but he took a group of students and half were given the role as a police officer,
Prison
and the
guard.
other half, yeah, and the person guard, and the other people were just inmates, prisoners. And this study was set to run for 2 weeks, and it was basically the students were supposed to be given the role as a prison guard, and the others were inmates, and it's just supposed to operate as a normal prison. Nothing special about that. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's just one group was in power, the other was inmates.
Yeah, they were
And
given
they had
no
to,
instruction. They were just given sunglasses, the uniforms. What else were they? They weren't given any weapons.
no, they were just given
Sunglasses,
basically the
uniforms, that was
position of
it.
power. That's the important part. They
Yeah,
were given
they were
the
just given a label. Like the prison guard and the prisoners.
they were given a label, and basically the inmates were basically told they're your superiors, just listen to them, this is just an experiment on psychology, big deal. The terrible thing about this experiment is they did not even make it 2 weeks. In fact, they barely even made it like 2 or 3 days
Yeah, I
before
thought
they had
it was
to
like 3 days or 4 days.
they had to cancel the experiment because the people who were prison guards were not told to be brutal or violent. They were cursing at them. They were calling the inmates like names. They were
would
abusing
humiliate
them.
and they would take away like food and bedding and shit like that because they would do like small like rebellious shit and then put them in like a solitary confinement basically that they called like the hole or something. I forgot what.
Yeah, basically the prison guards, without being told, without being priorly prompted, and none of them were like none of the students were mentally ill. None of them were like predisposed to have like issues or something. They were just awful to the people simply because they were given the badge and the power and basically the unspoken authority to do so. So
corrupt.
and
Corrupts, absolutely.
and when asked why they did it afterwards, like the people who were the prison guards, they said, "I don't know." Most of them said they don't know why. It felt right. Like that's what they were supposed to do. They're prison guards.
It's probably a combination of mob mentality and the corruption of power there.
Yeah.
One person did it, so the rest followed.
One guy, they don't know if it was faked or not, but basically either faked or had a mental breakdown to get out of the experiment early. But they would humiliate the shit out of the prisoners, the prison guards, and all they were given, keep this in mind, all they were given was a label, a uniform, sunglasses.
And by the way, this isn't BS or anything. Just look it up for yourself. The Stanford prison experiment, one of the most.
Actually, watch the documentary or watch the reunion. Actually, because they get them back together after a couple of years, like the prisoners and the prison guards, and they would talk to each other, and they like the prisoners would be like, "You guys, like, you fucked me up." You know what I'm saying? Like, this has been like, do you remember what you were doing? And they were like, "No, like I kind of don't even remember. I kind of forgot this whole thing happened." And then the prisoner's like, "You guys fucked me up for life." You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
and I'll remember that forever. Like, you guys, like, fuck you. You guys are assholes. And they didn't remember at all. We're only giving a uniform, a label, and sunglasses. And now it's fucking insane, dude. Like, and picture our police that are given a label, inadequate physical training, a gun, tasers, baton, and I mean, they have regulations or whatever. They're given instructions, But whenever no one's watching and they don't have the body cams on them all the time, you think they're just gonna like abide by that all the time off of just like word of mouth, off of just honor? There's no honor in being a police officer anymore. So you should put the honor back in being a police officer. Give them higher pay, give them higher physical training and mental training to be able to deal with this urge to be a power freak, a control freak. That's what I was talking about, and deal with this egotistical urges, these egotistical urges, and just be better people.
I do agree that reform is necessary in the police department.
We've concluded with a statement where Caleb King talks about not being egotistical. I think it's a good episode already.
Yeah.
So I think we've hit some important marks. I think there's just one last one that we thought we needed to get to, and that's going to be police and the racial divide in America.
Okay. So okay. I'll jump into this one a little bit. Actually,
you should.
So I can't speak from personal experience, and forgive me if this sounds cringy or stereotypical because I'm going to say it. I'm obviously not a colored person. I'm a white male, so I don't really know. No. Listen to me. I have a point behind this. Laugh at me if you want, but this has a real reason. So I don't know. I don't know what it's like, and I don't know if what I've been told or what people have been spread around on social media. I don't know if the us versus them mentality is a real thing, because I also this is relevant. I don't live in a place where there's a bunch of like gang violence or where there's a bunch of like murders. That's not a thing. But speaking from my point of view, there is most definitely some animosity between whites and blacks. Go figure. But I honestly don't understand why the us versus police also has been made into a white versus black thing. I agree that there's a very real us versus police thing, but it's not an us police. It's not a police versus black people. It's an us versus police, citizens versus police.
Yeah. And that's very important.
When I say no, like racially motivated like arrests and convictions and shit like that, I do believe there's a difference in culture 100%. There's not like the difference in the skin color does not matter. The difference in the subculture definitely does.
I agree with that.
I grew up in the middle class, right? So, but I have been to like ghettos, and I've had friends that live in ghettos. You know what I'm saying? And I'll go there, and and like I've had a lot of not so pleasant experiences just because I'm white. Like I don't want to be like playing victim or whatever, because I really don't give a shit. But if you don't act in this kind of like what do you call even the subculture of the black community?
It's just like, it's I don't know.
I mean, anyways, there's words you could use, but they're probably not PC.
I mean, I don't know.
When I say I say the black community, I'm not saying just like like you know what I'm talking about. Like the listeners know what I'm talking. I'm not being racist. I'm not being anything like that. Like the rap music, the fucking like the clothes, the chains, like that kind of living. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when if I don't act like that, because I see white people, they call them like wiggers or whatever, that can fit in like that. But if I act like me, like just being myself, I will get physically hurt. Like I can walk, even being in Robbie's school, just LaPorte High School. Like I'm just walking in the parking lot, and I'm like already getting fucked with and getting called white boy and shit like that, just for fucking walking. I'm just being white and walking.
I do remember that.
Yeah, like, but it happened multiple times, and I'm pretty sure like other things happen with black people. You know what I'm saying? Like black people like walk into a gas station that's just like white, and they don't feel welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference in the culture. And,
okay, wait. So before we escalate this, I want to point out that This is very obviously a dangerous and polarizing topic, but the way that we're mentioning it right now is specifically in regards to a racial divide, like that has directly to do with the police. Like the statement that people of color or minorities are more likely to be targeted by police because the police force is like more white than not.
Yeah.
That
So
kind of thing.
I was trying to transition to that, but I kind of got off the topic. But I was
Yeah, just
trying
a
to
little.
transition the culture thing into the police because whenever the police will see that kind of culture, white or black, you could be a fucking like white trash, like in the trailer park, and still get treated the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
So there, in my opinion, that culture is trash. Like, um, your
What
skin
culture
color,
is trash?
the like, not. I don't want to fucking say the black community. I wish there was a word for it because that's not what I'm
I think
talking
I
about.
think I think the word you'd want to use is thug culture. It's
Thug
very
culture.
thug.
Thug culture is
But
is a better
that's
word.
that's not a very PC term to use
Thug culture is
nowadays.
a better word. Because I like your skin color literally doesn't matter to me. I'm Caleb King. I love almost everyone I meet, and I'm a fuck. I sound egotistical. I'm a likable person, and people. I like people. You know what I'm saying? It literally
Mhm.
doesn't matter your skin color, and I say brother a lot, and that's not because that's not like a black thing. I say bro. It might be a black thing. I don't know, but I say brother a lot.
Nigga is a black thing.
It
Censor
is.
that again.
I don't
It
know
is.
about that. It doesn't seem like a black thing to me. It's just a thing. It's just a term.
But I'll like use it. I'll like
Brother.
whenever I'm working or whenever I'm like ordering food or something like that, and I'll be like thanks brother, and they'll be like what'd you say? I'm like I said thanks brother, and I'm like is that because I'm black? I'm like no, I call everybody brother. Like I'll say brother or like my friend, thank you my friend, thank you brother, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because people that's how I view people. Like they're my brothers and they're my friends in general. You know what I'm saying?
So
Mhm.
this is
And
this is sidetracking away from the
okay.
police. I
When
think
when
Caleb, you've had the floor for a long time.
yeah. Sorry.
Let's let Chris and I try to bring this back together.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say, like you were saying, I don't think police officers are more likely to target a skin color as much as they are more likely to target specific areas and the way some people look.
Yeah.
It's not so much the skin color, it has a lot to do with the way you present yourself and what kind of an area you're in.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a secret that police officers are more likely to patrol in areas that are more likely to have high crime rates. And statistically those crime rates tend to be higher in minority neighborhoods.
And there's a reason for that.
That is where the police officers are more likely to frequent. So you could argue police officers are more likely to target minorities, but it's not so much because they're minorities so much as it is that the areas that minorities tend to be predominant in are areas of high crime rates.
Yeah, and the reason that was developed could be or not could be is also again influenced by slavery, right? That like they were pushed into in these kinds of neighborhoods and stuff like that, and then by generations. Of course, there's exceptions. Your black family can get out of the ghetto. There is
They
still
can. It
but
happens all the time.
but you have to be able to get yourself out of that mindset, out of the poor mindset, because poverty
Caleb,
poverty is,
you're devolving into race stuff and not police stuff.
okay. I will tie this in. So like that is a factor on like what on like why they're being pushed into that neighborhood or whatever, and of course the police are gonna be more patrolling in and they do lose their cool, you know what I'm saying, which because they have to deal with the same like shitty people all the time, you know what I'm saying, and if I was a police officer I would fucking get tired of it too, and maybe I would like dissolve into like a fucking just not hateful person, but just like I get tired of their
Bitter.
shit. You know what I'm saying?
And the power then comes to you, and you have that.
And honestly, I don't have the answer for that.
I think I'll chime in because I think this ties in pretty well. Police, as of right now, are in a, correct me if I'm wrong, I think as a police officer, they're in a pretty terrible situation where, picture this. So the people of your country respected you for a long time. That stigma is changing. People fear police more than they respect them or love them or feel safe near them. So there's animosity. People don't like the police as much as they used to. Even if police haven't been liked for that long, that's not the point. The point is that police have a really low approval rating. And that's pretty bad if you're a police officer, because that leads to more people not respecting you. That leads to people inciting violence with the police. That leads to people, I don't know, harassing the police, because believe me, this is not a one-sided issue. While police brutality is a real problem, none of us don't believe that it is. It's still the same that people sometimes do provoke the police. Sometimes the police are unmerited and are brutal. That's true. It happens a lot, way more often than it should. But it cannot be understated that this is a two-sided issue. Everything in life is. The police are also being harassed as well by people because people don't like the police.
You point a gun at a police officer and he shoots you, and then they call you innocent.
That's not innocent. I'll say fuck the police because
well, that's free speech, but
yeah,
that
I'll say fuck the
them
police
at all.
and because I think not taking your job seriously, and I think being physically unfit is not taking your job seriously. And I think that's disrespectful. I think that's disrespectful to the job, and I think if you're in that situation, no matter what kind of shit you go through, like if you're dealing with shitty people all the time and you're a dickhead to me, fuck you. Like, still, you're an asshole. Like, I've had friends that I've lost or whatever that like are dickheads to me. I don't care how your parents treat you or how everybody else treats you. If I treat you good and you treat me like a dickhead, then fuck you. It's no exception with the police. I think we should move off this topic. We've already spent almost 50 minutes.
That's unreal, actually.
I might have to edit some of that down, but
I don't think so. I think that
no, I don't think you should edit that down. We might consolidate some of the other topics because I feel like this was the biggest, and if I'm being quite honest, I think this is the most important topic that we're going to cover on this episode by far and away.
Oh, no doubt.
Even more than the next two segments, even if they might have some like jokes or be more funny. The issues that we're talking about right here are very serious and very real.
And
so
we're about to have a real tone shift, and that's going to be weird.
I think it's we put out some great solutions even to the problem, because I fucking hate talking about problems and then not offering solutions to the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Twitter fucking does this all the fucking time. Fuck Twitter every episode. Fuck Twitter. Twitter does this all the fucking time. They'll bitch about a problem. Okay, how do we fix it? Silence. Twitter doesn't fucking know. Twitter has 280 characters. Fuck Twitter.
Okay, so I guess to wrap up this police thing, I think all of us should give our like final consolidated opinion on the issue. So why don't you go ahead, Robbie, because you haven't had the floor as much as me or Caleb.
Go Robbie, Chris. Go Robbie, Chris, me.
Robbie, Caleb, Chris.
Okay.
I think, like we've been saying, one of the most important things is that police officers need to be better trained, and if that results in less officers, I believe it's worth it because we're getting more officers. I don't think that there is much of a racial bias in the police force, so much as there is just a statistical problem with minorities committing crimes, and the police force is flawed, but I think we can make it better if, the government would actually try to make it better. But no one actually wants to solve problems nowadays. We just want to pass blame on others.
Well said. What about you, Caleb?
That's a very abridged version of everything I wanted to say, but yeah. Go ahead, Caleb.
Fuck cops.
Okay. I guess that's his. So I guess to close out the police discussion, I ditto most of everything that Robbie says.
Oh shit.
And Caleb as well. But not your summary, your other stuff, your intelligent speech.
No, my summary was perfect.
No. Anyways, I think that the police force definitely needs some improvement. I agree that better training regiments are mandatory. whether it be a statistical anomaly or actual animosity between police and minorities, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really care, because whether or not the problem is statistical or actually racial, the fact remains that there's a problem, and that means that we need to, as people, do our best to solve it. So I think that the police force is definitely messed up. There's problems with it, but I respect a man or a woman who actually wants to be a police officer and protect people, and they're passionate about it and take it seriously. All the power to you. You're a great person, and I respect what you do.
Police force, like Caleb kept saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, I respect a man or a woman who actually believes that that's their calling in life, or that's what they think they need to do for the rest of their lives. That's great. That they can do that if they wish, but the fact remains that there's issues in our police force, and those issues need to be addressed if we're actually going to make progress with the police in general as a unit.
All right.
All right, we're good. So, which one of you people wants to introduce the next one?
I will. Our next topic, very heavily related to the police.
Not at all. Absolutely not at all.
Virginity.
Oh, baby. There it is.
Oh, baby.
All right. So,
naked for the. By the way, I recorded the podcast naked just to get. Just to get a detailed image.
No, and we don't want a detailed image.
Naked in your cum stained chair.
Stop.
My cum stained chair. I
monitor.
finished my sugar-free Red Bull.
Okay, so instead of getting a mongoloid description, I'm gonna throw this out there. I can already tell you for a fact that I'm more of a moderate on this topic, but I think we're gonna have an epic battle between Caleb and Robbie, because I'm pretty sure these two don't agree on this one. So I'll let you guys butt heads on this before I chime in.
You want to go ahead, Robbie? I started the last one.
I don't know what to start with, honestly.
How about Caleb?
I'm a virgin. I'm waiting.
Start with your
marriage.
philosophy. Start with why. Why do you want to hold your dick up for yourself and not share it with a beautiful woman?
Well, let's start off with saying I'm single. I've never had a girlfriend in my life.
Ladies, you hear it? Go fucking get this werewolf dick, dude. Everybody go spam Robbie. Hit him up in the DMs.
For me, I'm right now. My status quo is I'm waiting until marriage, and that's I have never had a girlfriend yet, so I don't know how well that stands up to the test of time. Things could change any time, but I see it as an ideal to strive towards.
Mad hits.
Okay, sorry.
What's happening?
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing, Robbie.
You're laughing at me already. Okay.
I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Caleb saying he's dropping mad hints. That was funny.
I'm dropping hints.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not really. I'm not interested in anyone right
This
now.
could change at any time. Ladies, hit him up.
Anyways, Robbie, continue. Robbie, continue.
I see waiting as marriage as an ideal to strive towards, because I personally, I only really want to have one significant other in my life, and I feel like one of the best ways to ensure that is marriage. I don't want to lose it and then break up in like 2 months, and everything that was special about it is not so special anymore.
So here's what
I'm really just waiting for the right person that I feel fully invested in, and I've not gotten close to that yet.
Okay. Which is I guess that's reasonable.
Caleb is
why
I
I
unzip
don't
my pants at the first person who walks up to me.
Why I don't value virginity as much as said Robbie Bland is because I personally believe in a individualistic, like libertarian type of living, right? To where
There you go. I'm glad you're owning up to it for once.
what it's not a bad thing.
Being a libertarian.
No, I've always owned up to that.
Have you now? Because I feel like I brought it up in the past and you threw a fit.
Through a fit, that's a
Maybe
good
I just
thing.
imagined it.
Libertarianism is a good thing. Everybody should be able to do what they want.
Well, cool. Let's get back on topic then. My
Um,
bad.
To where, like, the reason why everybody gets their feeling of importance differently, right? They get their feeling of importance if you want to work a job like 9 to 5 and you want to have a work family, and you get your feeling of importance by making the bread for your family. That's where you get that feeling of importance. Your life is good. You're happy. I get my feeling of importance from attention. I kind
Wow, and the truth
It's not
comes
Honest
out.
hour.
It's
You're
not a
being
bad thing.
honest.
It's not a bad thing, and I will own up to that for a long time. I want to be a comedian. I want to be an actor. I want to have my art seen, and if I can't make it like that, I'll probably kill myself. And
Okay, and
so-
that's no good.
but it will happen. It will happen. Like I'll make it no matter what I do. I'll make it. I'm good. I'm talented, and I believe in myself, and that's all. And so that's all that matters. I have a lot of friends. Have a lot of people that say I can't, and fucking watch me, dickheads. So, anyways, what I'm saying is, you should be able to do whatever you want, and so I'm on this earth to live out my feelings of importance, and indulge in whatever pleasures I want, as long as it is not destructive. Sex is, believe it or not, is not destructive if you use protection. So as long as you're not getting anybody pregnant, I think there should be no reason to not have sex. It's just programmed into your head. It's like hunger, but you don't need it to survive. It's just an urge, and there's no reason to not satisfy that urge. And so whenever I analyze human like behavior, it either goes for one or two things. It's either like you can break it down simply into one or two things. Either sexual motivation or for feeling of importance, basically. And feeling of importance can be many different things, but my general feeling of importance is to make people happy and to not make people happy, just make people understand my art, whether it is comedy or whatever I want to do, right? And that attention, that positive attention or negative attention, just that reaction is where I get my feeling of importance and my general feeling of importance from. But I can get it from other things and other accomplishments. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's how human
We
motive.
get
Like,
into why you've lost your
Yes,
virginity
yes.
and why you have sex as often
Yes.
as possible.
I will.
Please.
Because but sexual urges are completely different. So that's I think it's a completely different genre of motivation, because it's the same reason why you eat food, and it's the same reason why you drink water or like scratch your
You want to
fucking
reproduce.
your back.
You are a
haven't
human being. You are an animal. You want to reproduce, so that your DNA and
but yeah,
heritage
so you
lives-
can get rid of that urge and you can satisfy that urge without reproducing, so you have no negative consequences, and you do get the positive pleasure of sex. It's really not that hard to comprehend, and people put a lot of importance on virginity. Oh, like, oh, that's the first person you have sex with. Nothing lasts forever, and the reason why I'm not afraid to say that love doesn't last forever, it's because it doesn't. And so I have a girlfriend right now, and I can say that I love her, and I do, and she loves me, from what I know of, unless she's lying to me the whole time. She's not.
Okay.
She loves me, and I will ride this for as long as it goes, but it will not last forever, no matter what anybody thinks. Like, even if we get married, which I'm not a big marriage guy, because love doesn't last forever. Whenever that feeling runs out, I won't be sad. And for that, I might be bummed out, or even if I'm the one that loses the feeling way later on, I'm still going to be bummed that that's gone, but I'm just going to be happy that it happened and continue moving on with my life. You see what I'm saying?
It's a Dr. Seuss quote.
What?
Don't cry that it's over. Smile that it happened.
Yeah, I'm just going to be happy that it happened. And I think that's a very positive mindset. and I don't expect everything to last forever, and I know that it's not. So whenever you say that you're going to save yourself for one person, I don't
It's
think that that's going
unrealistic.
to
I
happen.
know. And Robbie Bland, one of my greatest follies is that my values and my mindset tends to be unrealistic. I mean, I idolize characters that come from comic books, and none of that is real. It's all fiction.
Yeah, I have certain problems with storytelling.
When it comes
Specifically
down
like
to
Disney
me,
movies and shit.
I strive to be larger than life sometimes, and maybe that is the downfall of me. But I know what I want, and frankly, that hasn't changed yet. And when it does, it does. If it does,
Robbie Bland and Caleb King talking about each other in the third person. Interesting argument.
I'm saying
Caleb and I are
saying
two
Robbie,
minds of the same kind.
at least he knows it's unrealistic. Like,
I'm aware of that, but I have not met anyone right now who has made me feel like I should change that. I've not met anyone who makes me think, man, maybe.
Do you go out of your way to meet somebody like that? Because my life didn't change like that until I gained confidence with girls.
I do not have confidence problems with girls. I have a lot of friends who are girls that I talk to pretty regularly.
Most
of them are taken, but
and that explains that one.
I've had problems with girls for a long time, and girls have
I've never had
I've just let girls fucking walk all over me and just fuck me up. And Robbie knows that because I fucking bitched to him about it. But but now that I'm just cool with myself. I think that the most important thing, this doesn't have to relate to virginity because I think we just wrapped that up. But I think the most important thing for your life, if you're listening to this right now, best piece of advice you'll probably ever get is find yourself. Find stop focusing on other people. Know you. You have to know yourself before you get to do anything. And that's the reason why you're confused. A lot, especially millennials, like a lot of people are confused on who they are and what they want to do. You have to focus on finding that first. I know who
That's
I
another
am,
reason.
and I know where I get my feeling of importance from, and I know what people can fit in my life and what people will probably go away. And most likely all of them will go away and be replaced with new people. Eventually, they'll either die if it gets to that long. I'm gonna be immortal, so fuck whatever.
Hey, look, if you're seeking immortality, so am I. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I wanna piggyback off of that and say that another reason why I am single is because of what you were saying. A lot of people don't know who they are, and they don't know who themselves or who they want or what they want yet. And I think that is a reason why I'm single, is that when I start talking to people and getting to know them, they don't know themselves, and I know me. I know what I want, and you can't force people to be a certain way.
Yes.
And because of that, you have to let them go sometimes because they're just not what I'm looking for, I guess. And
all right.
They don't know who they are yet. They're not ready for a relationship or that kind of commitment.
I didn't even get to speak.
You didn't want to speak.
I didn't say I didn't want to speak. I thought this was. I thought
not want to speak.
Wait, where? I said that I don't want to speak first. I said I don't want to speak first because this is probably going to be a fight between Caleb and Robbie, and it wasn't.
It wasn't probably a fight because he
probably the most civil discussion I've ever heard. That was Caleb versus Robbie.
Caleb to come into this saying Robbie is dumb for being a virgin
Which
and
you
waiting
are.
into marriage. Robbie is so dumb and stupid, and he needs to pull his dick out already.
Pull your dick out right now.
Caleb found a way to make it civil.
I still think it's not, you said yourself it was unrealistic.
Caleb, you know me. I'm a very unrealistic person at times.
I understand that, but the virginity
I don't think
thing
it makes
different.
me stupid.
I mean,
I guess
it makes me arrogant and it makes me ignorant, but I don't think that entirely makes me stupid.
Perfect.
For sure.
Perfect.
No, you're not stupid. What the fuck? I never said that. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think if either one of you were stupid, I wouldn't let you on my podcast.
All right, and the perfect time for a segue into my opinion on this matter, even though it probably doesn't matter all too much because you guys have already basically encompassed this topic, unibrow. So my opinion on this topic is virginity doesn't really matter that much. Like, to me, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters that much.
There we go.
Now, I will say that I don't think you should just go have sex just because you want to lose your virginity. That's stupid. Like, basically, what you're doing. So picture this: you're a young, edgy, 13-year-old kid who is going through puberty, and you're like, man, one day I just want to have sex. That way I can be cool. You don't need to go out to have sex to lose your virginity to prove that it's not valuable.
Yeah,
You're basically hold on. I was about to say that you're basically putting something on a pedestal and saying you're not valuable, so I'm going to get rid of you. But you're basically acknowledging that it's valuable, and you're desecrating it just because you think or someone you know very well thinks it's valuable. You don't need to just get rid of it just because it's supposed to be important and you want to prove a point. Virginity isn't. It's not something you prove a point with. It's just. It's do you want to? Do you not want to? And even better, just be smart about it. Don't be stupid with your virginity.
I'll confess it's something that I think is important to me because I believe that sex itself is an important connection between two people.
I also agree.
I disagree.
Wait. So I haven't gotten to say anything yet. So I'll say that I agree.
I don't want to make that connection with someone that I am not.
Let me finish though. When I say I disagree, there are two different kinds of sex. There are two different kinds of sex. There's like horny sex, to where like it's purely the urge for sex, and then there is intimate sex, and I think both are completely fine. What am I saying? If you're not in a relationship, and you just want to have horny sex, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Get on Tinder, because that's what the fucking app is used for anyway. And
I don't think there's anything wrong with it either.
And have horny sex. But if you want to have intimate sex, get in a relationship, get to know the person, and then that is 10 times better. That is fucking awesome.
That's kind of my thing. That's what I strive for, because I think the other you could probably achieve just as much with masturbation. Honestly.
Fair enough.
I think there are more than enough devices at your disposal that you don't need to have sex with someone just want to have.
After you have sex, masturbation is like, what the fuck?
Well, again, speaking to a virgin, so.
I mean, I mostly agree with what Caleb says. There's definitely a clear distinction between like I just want to have sex with someone as opposed to I want to be with this person for the rest of my life and I want to share something special with them. That's what virginity is, but. I guess to me, because virginity isn't a question of should you have sex or not. This is not like a statistical category where you argue it based on the facts. Virginity is not a thing that you just magically lose. You don't look different or feel different or are different if you have sex. You're the same person. There's literally no change. But it's just a question of your morals. That's all this is. This is just like a moral argument, and how do you feel about yourself as a person? Are you comfortable with yourself as a person? So, to me, virginity it's not the most important thing, but if you don't want to, how do I put this? Because virginity itself isn't like a valuable trait. That's my point. It's not a valuable trait.
Doesn't make you special.
If you're having sex to be cool, you're fucking gay. If you're having sex because you want to have sex, then power to you.
And if you're not having sex to try to claim some moral high ground, you're actually retarded.
Yeah. Like for example, back in the olden days when knights had to be chaste, you couldn't tell if someone was chaste or not. They could have been like sleeping around with every woman in the town and no one would know, and they would still be the holy knight. They would have been the what?
You know who couldn't chase the knights?
Who?
Police officers, because they're fat.
Okay. What I was trying to say before I got steamrolled by that stupid ass joke is that you can't tell a virgin apart from someone who's not a virgin. It's not a physically valuable thing. It's just how you feel emotionally, morally.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are you okay with air quotes? This is giant air quotes here. Giving away part of yourself to someone else, then Yeah, yeah. I told you, like, it's not a thing. Virginity is not a thing, and that's why I don't care. And I personally believe it's not a big deal to lose it or not. Now, do I think you should just go have sex to use it and destroy your magical virginity buff? No, it doesn't matter because it's not a thing. But yeah,
It's not a thing,
that's my
and
stance.
the longer you wait to
summary.
lose it, the more of a loser you become in life.
All right, good summary, yo. Did we have a third topic?
We had one more, but this is a regrettable one. I don't even
need to talk about it.
What is it?
Vine
We're
too.
going to talk about Viners invading YouTube.
Okay, we'll
and
say
how
that for next episode.
YouTube is becoming cancer.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have today for episode 2 of Spaz Out. Fucking hell yeah.
That was different.